So, Dr. Pandit, you must be seeing a lot of patients now which are having virus or COVID like flu, which is not COVID. So, if the COVID tests negative, but they get flu like syndrome, fever, cough, cold, how does one interpret it? And what is your approach for our medical doctors who are hearing on the show? How does one approach it? And how does one approach it at home? Which are those patients where what are the red flags when the patients or the doctor should send them to a hospital for admissions? And which are those patients in the hospitals who have a red flag? They should be moving into an ICU like yours. Because clearly, when the winter season comes, we see two types of illnesses go up. Number one is all respiratory illnesses, upper respiratory infections, lower respiratory infections, and heart disease. All of them go up. So, Dr. Pandit, I would like to ask you this question. Ki if it is COVID is ruled out, could it still be COVID, number one? And in the non-COVID illnesses, upper and respiratory infections, what are the common infections and how do we approach it clinically?
Sure, sir. As you rightly said, that anybody who comes in with a common cold or a common flu-like symptoms or a flu-like illness in a pandemic, the first step is to rule out whether it's COVID-19 or not. There is no second doubt about that. Once you rule that out by a reasonable understanding of your antigen and your RT-PCR, which is the gold standard test, you could still have that as a COVID possibility, but the chances of it are very, very low. Around 20 to 30% of the RT-PCRs can still be false negative. And if you combine that with the COVID antigen and the rapid antigen and RT-PCR, it probably bring that down to around 15 to 20% false negative. So chances are very low. But once you've ruled it out, you need to understand that which subset of population patient are you seeing? Are you seeing patients who are immunocompromised? Are you seeing patients who have underlying lung disease like asthma, COPD, emphysema, bronchiectasis, past history of tuberculosis with scarring of the lung? I think if you have these type of patients, then you need to have a red flag, because these are the patients which may develop a non-COVID pneumonia or a non-COVID tracheobronchitis, which will probably lead for their oxygen to go down, increase on their work of breathing, and their saturations may go down. In such patients, you probably need to refer them to a hospital for better diagnostics and treatment. One of the diagnostic tests which has come up right now and is quite extensively used in this subset of high risk population patient is what we call as the upper respiratory tract biofire. So this upper respiratory tract biofire gives you a subset of different non-COVID virus or bacteria which may be affecting this high risk population, because once you have a specific diagnosis for this, you know what treatment to give. So some of the infections which we are commonly seeing right now, I'm occasionally seeing H1N1. I'm very commonly seeing rhinovirus, respiratory rhinovirus. I'm also commonly seeing RSV. In fact, up to 2 weeks ago, every second patient which I was admitting, which was requiring oxygen in the ICU, in a non-COVID ICU, was coming as respiratory syncytial virus positive. We also have sometimes very fancy viral names like human metapneumovirus. We also have sometimes enterovirus. So there are different viruses which we can test. And then, of course, there is the classic bacterial illnesses, which are lobar pneumonias like streptococcal pneumonia or H influenza pneumonia, which are very common this time of the year when the winter is at the peak. And then, as you rightly said, the second V, which is ventilation, if that is not adequate or is not clear, then you may also have atypical pneumonias like Legionella disease, or you may have psittacosis for people who are with parrots and birds and who try to feed them, pigeons, parrots, birds. These are the problems which are there, which can come secondary to these patients. So the approach has to be a holistic approach